This unnerving encounter occurred during one of my visits to Walmart. Usually, I would accompany my cousin or niece, but on this particular day, I had gone alone. As I approached the entrance and grabbed a shopping cart, I noticed a couple of guys near the flower section. Initially, I didn't pay much attention to them. Engrossed in checking items off my list on my phone, I suddenly felt a gaze fixated on me. When I turned, I saw one of the guys staring at me with an eerie, unsettling smile. It sent chills down my spine, and I quickly turned away, heading toward the stationery section. But no matter where I went, it felt like the man was following me. I saw him standing just a few feet away, still staring intently. Unease consumed me, and I decided to move away from his line of sight. As I did so, I caught sight of the second man positioned on the other side, exchanging suspicious glances and making incomprehensible signals that hinted at something ominous. Turning my head, I noticed the first man tailing me, seemingly engaged in a hushed phone conversation. Fear gripped me, and I hastily collected the remaining items on my list, making my way to the self-checkout counter. As I scanned my items, I saw the first man purchasing a disturbing combination of items: duct tape, rope, pills, and gloves. Instinctively, I knew something was terribly wrong. Summoning courage, I approached one of the store workers under the pretense of returning an item. In a low voice, I shared the entire situation, fearful that the men might overhear. The worker promptly alerted security, while the two men lingered near the exit, waiting for something or someone. Soon, a security guard arrived at the front of the store and engaged in a conversation with the men before escorting them out. Unaware of the subsequent events, I anxiously awaited further information. When given permission to leave the store, I saw a police car parked nearby, with the two men confined within. Later, I learned from the security guard that the men had been charged with attempted potential kidnapping. A search of their vehicle revealed a chilling list outlining their planned actions, as well as a shovel and a marked escape route through a nearby wooded area. If I hadn't turned around at that precise moment, things could have taken a devastating turn, potentially even leading to loss of life. The realization of how narrowly I had escaped a dangerous situation haunted me. I couldn't shake off the feeling of gratitude mixed with lingering fear. From that day forward, I became acutely aware of the importance of vigilance and trusting my instincts. I see you're already subscribed to the channel, and if not, it's your own fault. As the moon cast an eerie glow through the bedroom window, Sarah stirred from her slumber, her eyes adjusting to the darkness. She reached out instinctively, expecting to find the warmth of her husband's body beside her. However, her searching hand met only empty sheets. Confusion engulfed her as she called out, but her voice echoed hollowly through the vacant house. Fear coursed through Sarah's veins as she hurriedly climbed out of bed, stumbling into the hallway. The house felt strangely quiet, devoid of the usual sounds of life. As she made her way to her children's rooms, dread gripped her heart. Empty cribs and disheveled toys greeted her at every turn. Panic surged within her as she realized her entire family was missing. With trembling hands, she rushed to the front door, desperate to escape the encroaching terror. But as her fingers clasped the doorknob, she discovered it had been bolted shut from the other side. A primal terror surged through her as she realized she was trapped inside her own home. Frantically, Sarah rushed to the windows, only to find them covered with wooden boards, nailed firmly into place. The room seemed to close in on her as the realization set in. Someone had carefully planned this horrifying ordeal, imprisoning her within her own nightmare. But why? And who could be behind this malevolent act? Alone and filled with an overwhelming sense of dread, Sarah searched every inch of the house, hoping to find clues or a means of escape. Each room revealed nothing but the chilling emptiness that pervaded the air. As the hours turned into days, a suffocating isolation settled over her, her mind consumed by a mix of confusion, fear, and grief. Haunted by the unanswered questions, Sarah's sanity began to unravel. Whispers echoed through the house, the sound of hushed voices carrying on the wind, taunting her with their enigmatic messages. Shadows danced in the corners of her vision, teasing her with glimpses of elusive figures that vanished the moment she turned her gaze towards them. Sleep became a distant memory as Sarah's nights were plagued by vivid nightmares, blending reality with the supernatural. She would wake, drenched in cold sweat, to the sound of faint footsteps echoing through the empty halls. The pungent scent of decay wafted through the air, permeating every room, driving her closer to the edge of her sanity. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Sarah's spirit began to wither under the weight of her solitude, her mind slipping further into the depths of darkness. Her once vibrant laughter had been replaced by haunting cries that reverberated through the empty house, desperate pleas for release. Then, one fateful night, as Sarah huddled in a corner, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. It stood before her, its presence malevolent and foreboding. With a voice that seemed to crawl from the depths of the abyss, it whispered to her, revealing the truth that had been hidden from her all along. "You were chosen, Sarah," the voice hissed, chilling her to the bone. "Chosen to pay for the sins of your bloodline, to bear the weight of generations past. Your family is but a sacrifice, a price demanded by the darkness that lurks within." As the figure faded into the darkness, Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. The revelation left her paralyzed with terror. She had unwittingly inherited a curse that demanded the sacrifice of her loved ones. The walls of her once beloved home closed in on her, trapping her in a labyrinth of despair and eternal torment. From that day forth, the house stood as a dark testament to the family's demise. Locals whispered tales of the woman who was left behind, cursed to roam the empty halls for eternity, forever tormented by the echoes of her lost family. And to this day, the house remains, its windows boarded, its doors bolted shut, serving as a haunting reminder of the horror that unfolded within its walls. Locals whispered tales of the woman who was left behind, cursed to roam the empty halls for eternity, forever tormented by the echoes of her lost family. And to this day, the house remains, its windows boarded, its doors bolted shut, serving as a haunting reminder of the horror that unfolded within its walls. Many brave souls have ventured near the house, drawn by the allure of the macabre and the thrill of the unknown. Some claim to have witnessed flickering lights in the uppermost windows, others speak of blood-curdling screams that pierce the night, carrying on the wind. The stories spread like wildfire, attracting thrill-seekers and paranormal investigators alike. Numerous attempts have been made to uncover the truth behind the woman's disappearance and the malevolent force that ensnares the house. Paranormal experts, armed with their equipment, ventured into the darkness, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. However, few have returned, and those who have speak of a presence so palpable, so suffocating, that it drove them to the brink of madness. Local authorities have tried to investigate the house's history, searching for any records that might shed light on its dark past. But the documents are scarce, as if the house itself refuses to reveal its secrets. Legends and rumors, passed down through generations, offer only fragments of the truth, leaving the mystery unresolved. Those who live nearby have learned to avoid the house, fearful of the unknown horrors that lie within. It stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the lingering darkness that can consume even the most ordinary of homes. The community whispers warnings to the curious, urging them to stay away, lest they too become victims of the malevolence that resides there. Over time, the house has become an iconic symbol of fear and dread, drawing the attention of filmmakers, writers, and thrill-seekers from all corners of the world. Its chilling tale has been recounted in books and movies, capturing the imagination of those fascinated by the macabre. Yet, amid the fascination and terror, the woman's fate remains unknown. Did she succumb to the darkness that surrounded her, or does she still wander the desolate halls, forever seeking her lost family? The questions linger, unanswered, perpetuating the legend that shrouds the house in an impenetrable veil of horror. As the years pass, the house continues to stand as a testament to the power of fear and the lasting impact of tragedy. Its windows remain boarded, its doors bolted shut, a silent warning to all who dare to enter its realm. The woman's story lives on, whispered in hushed tones, a cautionary tale of a family torn apart and the relentless grip of an unspeakable evil. And so, the house stands, a dark enigma in the annals of horror, etching its chilling presence into the very fabric of the town's history. I'm following you, you haven't liked it yet. Working at the local Walmart had been my routine for over 3 years. I was accustomed to the various tasks assigned to me, such as stocking shelves, taking inventory, and setting up displays. On this particular day, everything seemed normal, just like any other shift. As I made my way down the grocery aisle, I paused to let customers pass by with their carts. While backing up slightly, I felt an unexpected presence behind me. I turned my head and was taken aback to see a man standing uncomfortably close. Without thinking, I politely said, "Excuse me," assuming it was a mere accident. But his response sent shivers down my spine. He looked at me with a leering expression and said, "It looks like you bumped me with your ass. Guess there's some male parts on my butt." Disgusted and shocked, I gave him a stern glare and swiftly walked away to the other side of the store, desperate to put distance between us. Seeking solace in trying to process the unsettling encounter, I found myself in the toy section, trying to catch my breath. As I looked up, I was horrified to see the same man approaching me again. He locked eyes with me and began to laugh sinisterly, saying, "So we meet again, do we?" Overwhelmed by fear, I dropped the cart filled with work items and fled to the back stock area, seeking refuge. I hid there for as long as I could, waiting until I felt safe enough to venture back onto the sales floor. When my shift finally ended, I clocked out and rushed straight home, grateful that I hadn't encountered the man again and hoping I never would. To many, this incident may not have seemed particularly terrifying, but for me, it was a deeply unsettling experience.